Alright guys, now we're going to do the long-awaited Q&A for the online arbitrage questions. So I went through and I've actually outlined about 25 questions that seem to be more of the most frequent questions and like a lot of questions that I get, on a per video basis, honestly. So I feel like this is a good way to A, me answer your question directly, even though I've obviously already responded to these questions, and B, for you to kind of see where other people are struggling with the online arbitrage or where they're confused. This will obviously help you, give you a little bit more information. And as always, if I don't answer any of your specific questions or you develop another one, drop it in the comment section down below and I would love to answer that for you. So we're going to go through and I'm going to pop each question up on the screen as I'm reading it. They're all right here in front of me. There's about 25 of them. That way you guys can literally see them. Hopefully I answer your question. If not, like I said, drop it in the comment section down below. We're going to jump into them. So 25 of them. We're about to go. Before we actually jump into, I am actually giving away 5 more coupon codes for the Online Arbitrage Pro course. You can get it 50% off down in the description. We're going to do coupon code DEUCES. Coupon code DEUCES. I'm going to pop that up on the screen right now. First 5 people to grab it. There's only 5 available, and that's it. Some other people have gone, a little bit more in depth in the course, and it seems like there's some slots open. I did give away 5 about maybe a week ago, but for right now, I'm going to hold it at this 5 and cap it off at the 10 number at least until February. So these are the last 5 until then. First link in the description, coupon code DEUCES. Obviously, deuces to eBay because I got suspended from eBay. And if you haven't checked that video out, go ahead and do so. So, jumping right in now, I'm going to try to go through these as fast as possible while giving an in-depth, thoughtful answer. And I'll try to, realistically answer them in about 30 seconds to a minute. So let's jump in. Chris Andrews says, "Hey Brian, I'm confused. Please help. I have just one Prime account, $13 per month that I buy from. Do I get another Prime account to resell these online products so I don't get suspended? Also, do you just leave reviews on JumpSend, Snagshot, Vipon?" So, to jump through this real fast, so you need 2 accounts. This is a question I get all the time. You need 2 separate accounts. One buyer account that is Amazon Prime, and one seller account that is your seller account, and I recommend going with a professional seller account and not individual. It's really that simple. They're not linked, so you're not buying from your seller account, even though you can do that. You're buying from your Amazon Prime account, and you're reselling with your seller account. 2 separate accounts, not connected. Now, do not leave any reviews when you buy any products. You can do one of 2 things. You can either review the product and keep it, or you can resell the product, which is number 2. Obviously, the course goes into reselling the products to make money, hence, the online arbitrage, but don't review anything if you plan on reselling it. That is a big, big no-no. Moving on, Yariq says, "Does that only work in the USA? I'm from Europe. Would I be able to use this system?" So this works for anybody across the board, not just people in Europe, but anybody outside of the US. Obviously, there are multiple Amazon marketplaces, so you can do online arbitrage in any of those Amazon marketplaces. However, for the people outside the US, I would recommend not dropshipping. I recommend buying from the Amazon coupon sites for the US and reselling back on the US marketplace. The reason being is there's more coupon arbitrage products. There's also better products on Amazon. There's more products. There's higher margins. And the Amazon marketplace is just the biggest, so it's the most sales and the highest profits that you can actually make. So you can sell on any marketplace or any of them, but I recommend Amazon, and the way that you can do that from outside the US is just simply order to a prep center. So instead of you ordering to your physical location, whether that's in Europe or Canada or Japan or Australia or wherever, you simply order to a US prep center, you get their address, you set up a deal with them, and they're gonna simply just charge you a percentage for every single item that they deal with. So hypothetically, if you set up a prep center deal where they're taking 50 cents for every item, then you do maybe 30 a month, then obviously you're paying $15 a month for them to prep your packages, unbox them, everything, ship them back into FBA where you're simply gonna make the profit. So it's very, very cheap. Usually it's about 50 cents all the way up to, I've seen, $1.50 for the people that will actually sign into your seller account and literally do everything for you, which is also a great deal. But yes, you can simply order to a prep center. Good question. Ivan Pena says, "From the coupon websites, do you also source supplements?" Yes, I do. Supplements have some of the greatest margins, in my opinion. You can source pretty much anything. Just make sure that you can sell it. Always check if you can sell. Moving on, George1924 says, "Hey Brian, very informative videos, and I like your transparency. I'm about to take your course, but I want to know if you've ever had issues with Amazon with that method. And do you use your account for the purchases or another one to take advantage of Prime shipping?" So that second part of the question I answered before. You need 2 separate accounts, so one prime buyer and one seller account. But yes, have I ever had issues with Amazon? Are you referring to Amazon specifically or the sellers on Amazon? I've never had specific issues with Amazon, but I have had issues with other competitive sellers. It's a competitive marketplace, and obviously competition is a good thing. It indicates money and profit to be made. So the issues that I've had with other sellers are, it used to be cease and desist letters a lot, and you'll still get them, but I obviously in the course go through and give you a template of how you can deal with them fairly frequently. And if you're sourcing products, 90% of the sellers aren't even going to realize you're on the listing for the hour or two that you're there, or day potentially max. And nowadays, it seems more like IP complaints and copyright infringement claims, but 99% of those are bogus anyway, and I've developed a scheme, and scheme sounds bad. I've developed a plan of how you can handle those. Like I said, 99% of those are bogus. It just is a matter of appealing it and proving that they are. It's really that simple. Quincy Scott says, Brian, if you buy a laptop for your business and decide to finance it, can you write off the cost of the laptop or just the payments that you made in that fiscal year? So this is a good question because I've been talking a lot about finances and taxes. I am not a tax professional. Always consult with your CPA. I shouldn't give advice on this, so I'm not necessarily going to. If it were me, I would assume that if it were me specifically, I would only be able to write off the payments for that fiscal year. But I know there are some stipulations in some states with cars. So if you put a down payment on a car, I know there are certain things that you can do, but like I said, consult your accountant. I'm not qualified to answer that for you, and I don't want to point you in the wrong direction. Tara Lish says, could you cover the label with yours? Yes, it's exactly what you do. So you're not going to cover them all. When you're going to she's talking about when you're shipping packages back into FBA. So you're only going to cover the ones that Amazon prompts you to do, which I go in depth in the course of how to show you. But when you are prompted, yes, you print that label out, you tape it right over the old ASIN label, and you're good to go. Esam says, great job, Brian. Do you know similar sites from Canada? Would be great if you can help with that. So yes, there are sites that you can source from in Canada, and there are bulk sites and liquidation pallets for Canada. I don't specialize in the Canadian marketplace, although you can do that as well. For anybody that's not in the US, I simply recommend doing all of their sourcing in the US marketplace and using a prep center. I know some people don't want to do that, but there's the most profit to be made there, and I have probably at least 10 to 15 students that are all sourcing with prep centers and doing fairly well with it. Some of them, I think there's like 2 or 3 that are still having some hiccups, but the majority of them are pretty good to go, and their prep centers, have everything down now. Ayan says, fantastic job. Can I sell items on Poshmark from outside the US? Unfortunately, I don't believe that you can. I believe Poshmark is only for the US currently. You might want to look into that, but that's just what I am under the understanding of. So Jeff says, hey Brian, what do you do if you get a cease and desist letter from another seller? Is it against Amazon's terms of service if their item is copyrighted / trademarked? So a couple of things here. Like I said, I go into depth. I give you an entire template in the course on what to do when you get a cease and desist letter. That's standard. You're going to get them from time to time. If you're selling 500 products a month, you can expect a good 10 to 15 cease and desist letters. It's part of doing business. It's how they try to compete. Because like I've said in the past, they don't realize that you actually do have their product. They think that you are, actually creating a fake product, which you are actually not doing. So there are ways to prove that. There are ways that you go about that. Obviously, I can't really go into that in depth right here. But yes, there are ways to handle that, and that's to be expected. Same thing with the copyright and trademark. Now, yes, if it is actual legitimate copyright and trademark, 99% of those legitimate ones will reach out to you. There are also other things that you can do to compete with the other inauthentic, claims and the copyright claims that are bogus. Because, like I said, 90 to 95% of them are at least going to be bogus. There's no repercussions for sellers to file these bogus claims on Amazon right now, so it's just a way that they try to compete, unfortunately. But there are easy ways to beat them, and if you appeal enough and you do certain things, you can get by them pretty easily. So Wong says, how do you verify your phone number if you are outside the US? They need a local USA number to set up. So some of the coupon sites in the course actually do need a US number to set up, and there are multiple ways that you can handle that. First and foremost, the easiest way is just find a temporary phone number site on Google. Some of them work and some of them don't. You just gotta find one. That's the easiest way. Another way that you can do it is you can go to a Facebook group and offer something free, whether that you're offering like $1 or $5 or a free CPA offer. Say you find a free CPA offer or whatever if you don't want to give money that offers a free game. Well, then you want to find a gaming Facebook group niche and you want to go offer that game for free, even though it's a CPA offer, and in exchange for something. Then once you get people to respond to that and comment on that post, then you're going to personal message them and you're going to DM them and say, hey, here's the game. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind letting me borrow your US number for briefly. I just need to verify. And if they say yes, then obviously you give them the game once they verify the number for you. And if not, then you move on to the next person because they're just going to say no, and it's totally fine. I've had, I think, 2 people in the course actually try to go that route, and both of them have seen success with it. The first guy, I think, had to ask like 5 people, and like 4 of them shot him down, and then the 5th person was good. Took him like 5 to 10 minutes, and the second person, I think, got it like right away on the first post. So not difficult at all. Rayan says, how do you make 5 to 10K if you're buying one product at a time? This is one of my favorite questions because a lot of people think, how are you doing all this packaging and sending all these individual products? Simple, man. How do I make 5 to 10K a month doing it one product at a time? One product at a time. There's a lot. Think about it. If you're buying $10 profit margins, well then 10 to 20 a day, and you're pretty good there. So 20 a day, you might be like, what is that, 6 to 7K a day if their margins are $10. So it's pretty simple. You don't only have to buy 10 to 20 a day, and you're pretty good. Gopal says, hey Brian, can I buy 10 quantities of a single item at a discounted price, or should I buy less quantities, and do I need to use Jungle Scout even if the BSR, the bestseller rank, is lower than 21,000, or can I do it without Jungle Scout? So a couple of questions here. Can you buy multiple quantities? Typically, I suggest buying quantities of 1 because that's going to protect you long term over the listing because things can change, because you don't want to be, the whole idea here is to flip them fast. If the numbers are good enough, you can, but I don't suggest going too high with that. You're not trying to screw any sellers over here. You're not trying to buy all their inventory at their coupon price. That's kind of a dick move, and I think that's bad karma. I don't suggest doing that, but if, let's say they have 2,000 units or 300 units and you're going to buy 10 of them because they're selling fast, that's a call that you can make. I've done it in the past, but I would recommend not abusing that. Now, do you need Jungle Scout if the bestseller rank is below 21,000? No, you don't necessarily. I always recommend it. If you have the Jungle Scout Chrome extension, use it. But if you don't have the Jungle Scout Chrome extension, then just stick below 100,000 and you should be pretty good. But if you do have the extension, you're asking, do I need to click it if it's under 21,000? No, you don't. But if you click the Jungle Scout extension, it will show you how many sales they have a month. So if you want to buy a quantity of higher, if it's saying it's selling 10 a day, well, you can buy three because you know that those 3 will flip that day. Matthew Gill says, are you allowed to ship different products to Amazon in the same box to save on shipping? Yes, you are, Matthew. That's exactly what I teach to do because your margins will be higher. Cats Lover says, thank you. You give us accurate and useful information. When doing online arbitrage, or when doing arbitrage, and because I'm a beginner, can I sell anything in the Facebook groups? And can you sell toys? I'm a little bit lost in this one. So can she resell anything that she gets in the Facebook groups for free? Yeah, you can, as long as you can sell them. Just check. On top of that, can you sell toys? You can actually sell toys. The only reason I'm assuming this question was, because of Q4. New sellers were restricted to not being able to sell toys and games in Q4, but you should be able to. That's since been rescinded. Q4's over. Everybody should be able to sell toys now. That's just a Q4 thing because of the high velocity of toys during Christmas. Rob S. says, can someone please tell me why it's costing me $13 to ship a Vicks Vapor Rub in a tiny box from Florida to Texas? Absolute ridiculous. So I remember asking this one, ship it medium mail. Just ship it medium mail. It sounds like you try to ship it, just normal mail or retail ground, and your margins are going to be shot. So yeah, ship everything medium mail if you can. How do you keep track of your cost of goods? I'm having a hard time with that. Lucky for you, Mojo, I've done countless examples of this, so I'll drop a card up in the right-hand corner right now of me actually sourcing. That will be a playlist of me not sourcing. That will be a playlist of me running through exactly how I keep track of my cost of goods and my expenses with a spreadsheet. Check out that playlist. That will really help you out. Jay says, I live in Hawaii, so would it still be feasible for me to ship them back to myself or send it to a prep center? This is a great question because he's talking about the 2-day delivery as well. So With Hawaii, it's a little bit of a different thing because you're not in the mainland US. So you're still going to get the shipping, you're still going to get the deals, and if you're okay with a couple of extra days, then by all means it will work for you. If you were, there's no reason that you can't use a prep center though. If you wanted to go that route, you can do either one. It's whatever you're more comfortable with. If I were in Hawaii, I would test it out and see if it, kind of gave me any trouble that I wasn't expecting for maybe a week or two. And if everything was fine and it was just like adding a day or two to my shipping, I would just continue to do it myself. If I saw that it was adding like a week or something, then I would probably look into a prep center. If you do have a question on that, Jace, just make sure to shoot me an email or drop a comment down below if you see it again, and I'll answer that specifically for you. I don't have many, I'm not sure if he's in the course or if you're in the course. You might be my only person from Hawaii, at least that I know of. So Bridget L says, hello, I love your content. Thank you for making these videos. Just to understand, can this prep center in Canada be used to ship to the US, source in Canada and sell in the US, or is it just doing OA in Canada, source and sell locally? So for Canada, you can, like I said, you can source in Canada and you can do a prep center in Canada, but I recommend sourcing, if you're from Canada, I recommend sourcing in the US marketplace and sourcing to a prep center in the US marketplace. So the prep centers in the US, the FBA centers in the US, everything's in the US. Your products never actually cross the border. They're always in the US. Just use a US prep center. It's literally that easy. Maya Sound says, using the same seller account to buy products that you are using a Prime account? I don't know why I added this one again. Yeah, you need two separate accounts. So a Prime buyer account and a seller account. Vincent Hunley says, great video. I took the Online Arbitrage Pro course. Very good course as well. Do you have a video or link on how to handle the taxes from this income? How is this income classified? Thanks. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I sent this to you. I think, Vincent, you emailed me if you're watching this. And I sent you the actual tax thing. But that should be linked in the little business template that I go over in my playlist. That playlist should actually be linked in the description as well. And you can, obviously it'll give you the information on where to get it. And if not, just shoot me an email or drop a comment down below and I'll make sure that you get it if I haven't given it to you already. And for anyone else looking for the business template, just shoot me an email, Brian with a Y at bgmediainnovation.com. So Ron Freitag says, hey Brian, how about the shipping of a $1 product? No free shipping, I'm guessing. I'm not sure what you mean by that. He could be talking about eBay. He could be talking about, I'm not sure what video I took this from, but no, there's no free shipping. You can't get free shipping as far as I'm concerned. The only places you get free shipping are on Poshmark, and if you charge people to, for the shipping on Amazon and you're merchant filling it, or if you charge people on eBay for the shipping on eBay. But other than that, if you're not charging people for shipping, the only place you get free shipping is on Poshmark, not on Amazon, Mercari, or eBay. But, because the buyer pays for it on Poshmark. Magarant says, great video. I'd love to scale up to 5K a month in a few months. Do you know on average how much you're putting in a month to make that? It depends. It can be anywhere from 500 to, $2,000. I've done countless videos in that playlist that I'm talking about that I dropped as a card. Excuse me, like swallowing, it's hard to speak, so many answers here. But yeah, that playlist down in the description where I basically talk about, the taxes and the expenses will literally run you through how much I spend and how much I make on any given month. On top of that, it depends because each product is different, so each margin is going to be different. It's going to depend every product to product, every month to month. Crypto Grip says, does your course have updates on new websites to source from? Yes, there should be about, I think we're approaching 30 now in the course, so there's 30 websites to source from. Charlie says, good day. Out of interest, how do you monitor warranty info for 3 years for every single item bought with this method? Pretty simple. So I don't monitor warranty info because I'm a third-party seller, and if you do the arbitrage like I teach, you won't have to either because you're not the original seller. So when you're listing under a third party and not that actual seller, you won't be responsible for the warranty. Yvonne Pena says, great video, need to do this, but where does the money you use to buy for new products come from? Also, can you make a video on how to track inventory and the cost of goods? That's my biggest problems. So I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure I sent Yvonne the business template to keep track of the finances and stuff. If not, shoot me the email and I'll get that to you. Furthermore, so where does the money come from? It comes from the profit margin. So let's say I take $300 and I turn that into $1,000, right? Well, whatever difference I don't spend next month is my money. So that I spent 300, I made $1,000, I profited $700, right? Well, I can take 500 of that and spend it more on products and pocket 200. I can take all 700, spend it on products, or all 1,000 and spend it on products. You know what I mean? That's where the money comes from. It's from the profit. Hope that makes sense. So that finishes up all 25 questions. I hope you guys really, really like that. If I skipped over something or I missed a question that you might have, drop it in the comment section down below. I would love to answer that for you.